Let's go.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. So, before we start, I just wanted to show this off. So, for those of you that played this game, you guys all know that the Lurker Shark is just pure nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to do here is we're going to make fun of him a little bit. So, let's do that. Okay. A little more. A little more. A little more.
Oh,
That's it. All right.
Great.
Just wanted to show that off real quick for you guys. All right. So, my name is Outrageous Josh, and this is Jack and Dax, the Precursor Legacy.
First thing, before we start the run, there's actually a 6-minute cutscene that goes on when you start the game, when you start from a new file. However, we are able to start from a 0% file, and by loading it and pulling out the memory card beforehand, we're able to start right before the game, and it's pretty consistent timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should maybe do a roll call real quick, like on the couch.
Okay, sure. Go ahead, Ricky.
You go. Oh, I'm the Rixer. I ran Ratchet and Clank during the marathon.
I'm Rubik's. I run Jack 2.
I'm Headstrong. I ran Superman 64.
And that's
and
Wed.
that's Wed.
Hi, Wed.
Hey, Wed. Yeah, let's go, Wed.
All right. So, ready for countdown? All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
All right. So, go ahead, Ricky.
You take it, Rubik's.
So in this game, you're actually meant to collect 72 power cells, which are basically a fuel source for different machines that help you progress through the game. You do that by collecting these objects called scout flies is one way. So now there's 7 scout flies in each area. The first area being Geyser Rock, which is basically the tutorial area, which there are 4 power cells in there.
Yeah, you need to collect all these power cells throughout the game. There's a few, like you said, there's a few ways of getting them. One of them is by getting these orbs, as you see, these little egg-shaped objects. A lot of the time, you can pay certain characters to give you a power cell by giving them 90 or 120 orbs and things like that. In the first level, you are required to get all 4 power cells. And what he grabbed earlier was something called Blue Eco, which is, as you can see, Jack is like lighting up a little bit. That's Blue Eco. You use that to 1, run faster, and 2, activate platforms and like different objects, and 3 is it magnets it magnets orbs to you, essentially. So here's a cool trick.
So that's called a rocket uppercut.
Yeah, completely useless, but really fun.
It's the best way to use the portal.
So unfortunately, in this game, we have a few unskippable cutscenes. Over the years, we have found ways to skip many of the long ones, but this one is you go through a portal and then you get put right into the cutscene. So there is no way to skip this one, unfortunately.
We can have one donation.
Sounds great. We have $50 from Ocelot. Thank you for the event. This week has been amazing. I won't be able to watch the stream this weekend, so I wish everyone good luck and a lot of fun for the rest of the marathon.
Cool.
All right, so Samos right here tells Jack to go to Sentinel Beach, but we're pretty rebellious, and we're not going to go to Sentinel Beach. We're going to go straight to Forbidden Jungle. But first, we're going to go steal some scout flies out of people's houses.
So there's different scout flies in every area. 7 scout flies, and then once you collect the 7th scout fly, a power cell pops out. And for most areas we go to, we're actually going to be collecting the power cells.
So for the movement in this game, there's a few different ways to go. There's a few ways of spacing. As you see, what he's doing right now is roll jumping. There's also uppercutting, which he's doing right now. And if you want to go ahead and explain extended uppercuts, which was right there.
So there's so that's called a boosted extended uppercut. So basically what happens sometimes is when Jack is near an edge, he'll start to slide off slowly. Now if you combine that with punching off the edge, he actually gets an insane amount of speed, and you can use that to get to places you're not supposed to be normally, or also just optimal movement since it's pretty fast.
And yeah, like I said before, you can chain together the roll jumps and the punches and all the boosteds, all the extended uppercuts. We'll go into maybe more of it a bit later, but for now, here's the fisherman.
This is everyone's favorite RNG mess of this game, where everyone comes to reset because the fish hate us all.
I don't know how many runs I've lost just in the first 5 minutes of the game because of bad fish. So terrible.
So, how good is this fisherman, Josh?
How good is this fisherman? Oh man, he's absolutely terrible. So, his job title is fisherman, but he cannot collect one fish. So what is? He's just a pile of meat, honestly.
The funny thing is, the very first fish, you don't even have to move the net at all to collect it. It's 100% guaranteed that you're going to get it if you don't touch the controller, but only for the first fish. So,
which means he wasn't even able to catch that one, so he must have done something wrong.
Yeah,
Not
even looking. Better than the fisherman already.
Easy.
You got it. Easy. Easy.
So you want as many goldfish as you can get because they're 5 pounds and you want to collect 200 pounds of fish. So.
Here comes a big one.
Nice.
There's the big one. Oh.
There they are.
Oh,
There
wow.
they are.
Let's go.
It's better than practice.
Definitely. Oh, practice went awful. So if you catch one eel, you'll poison the whole darn catch, as they say. You fail the challenge if you collect just one of the eels, so you really, really got to be careful with that. Luckily, the controls for the net is actually pretty smooth. So if the mistake's on you, it's on you.
No pressure?
Yeah, no pressure. There's different phases for this fish minigame where you can kind of tell how many you're supposed to have on average going into these parts. Like there's an eel phase coming up here in a bit where he can tell whether or not it's good or not. It's looking like about average, maybe
Yeah,
a little
pretty
bit,
average.
little bit below. This is the eel phase, as I was talking about here.
Yeah, we usually look for around 140 to 145 fish coming into here.
Those two fish made it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason we're doing this fish minigame is not only for the power cell. You might be thinking, oh, there must be faster power cells. Well, there are, but the only thing about this is when you beat this this little fish minigame, you gain the access to Misty Island, which has a bunch of fast cells that you can get very easily. It's just a whole world you unlock, essentially, from doing this.
Sick. All right.
Yeah.
200 fishes. We did his job.
But we did get his boat.
True. All right, so we're gonna move along FJ here, and the first thing you're gonna see here is a water roll jump. Hopefully, I can do it. Okay, there it is. It's caused by trying to roll jump just before you hit the water. It's kind of precise actually.
Yeah, you can't actually normally roll in the water. He'll just duck. But if you do a jump before it, yeah, you can do that. So again, this is another power cell where you just need to have the blue eco. You go near the door, and the door opens. Just a little, really easy puzzle to do. He's also going to detour right here just to get a few of the scout flies. And he's going to go up here to get some blue eco.
That was close. Landed right on the side.
Nice. There's a few like optimal ways to move in the water if you want to talk about that, Rubik's.
Yeah, so this is actually called, it's like water hopping. If you have blue eco, you're actually able to jump pretty precisely, and before you're fully submerged in the water, you can hop again, and it's a lot faster than just swimming or hopping normally. It's only really faster, though, if you have blue eco, though.
It's a pretty cool looking jump right here. You can cut the corner right there and get the cell at the top. Very nice, very nice.
Awesome run so far.
Yeah, it's great. So entering the temple, there's a pretty fast cell you can get. Let's see if the camera bugs out. It likes to do that at the top here.
Okay, good.
You got saved.
The camera can actually flip and turn around, even though you're going forward. It'll like think you're going backwards for whatever reason there.
I'm always scared about falling there. The area is pretty precise.
Yeah, again, it's all about like specific spacing. So like right here, he's doing a punch. towards the eco vent because you can't fit in a roll jump because the cutscene's in the way. So it's all about like picking the right moves to save the most time.
A lot of cutscenes that are chained together in this game, they have a pretty significant gap where you can actually put inputs in. So there you're able to kind of get towards the edge to get the blue eco sooner.
Use plant boss.
Okay.
You got
I
the
got
mid
bite
one.
skip.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different things you can get there. You can get quick bite, which saves about 1.5 seconds over what I just got. Or you can just not get bite skip at all and lose 6.5 seconds. So luckily there I got normal bite skip, so I'm pretty fine with that.
Yeah, in this boss fight, it's a really easy boss fight. You're just supposed to defeat the enemies, and what it then does is he puts his head up, and he puts a bunch of leaves up where you're supposed to jump on the leaves, and then you hit him in the head as his head is exposed. But you can hit him so early.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not even funny. Like this boss is super easy.
So you might have noticed Josh took damage at Plant Boss after he killed him, and that's because after he gets this last Scout Fly here, he's going to grab the Power Cell and then actually Death Warp back to the beginning of Forbidden Jungle.
This is a great enough height to the point where he can just ground pound and he'll die here. Sometimes you can hear the fisherman in the background just laughing, so he's like basically mocking you for taking fall damage.
So right here we're gonna abuse a checkpoint from Sandover. This is the only checkpoint in Sandover, and it's really close to Misty Island. So what I do is save and load, and I'm right here.
Yeah, it gets us a lot closer to the boat. And we're off to Misty Island. You can feel free to read a few donations.
Absolutely. We have a $75 donation from Tina Hacks. As promised, 25 per potion used. Huge shout outs to the GDQ staff and volunteers. We also have a $75 matching donation from Ellipsis for Tina's 3 potion uses.
So at the beginning of Misty Island, we're going to be catching the Muse, which is casually is one of those things where you run around the island forever and you... I couldn't even explain it in time. Yeah, he already got the Muse. You run around the island for so long. And you have to just catch the Muse, but Josh just does it so fast.
So now ever since he did that save warp, he's actually got autosave on, which is going to help in a couple different areas where we can quickly load warp and get to the beginning of different areas to be faster, basically. By the way, he's not doing Misty Island in any kind of order that the developers wanted.
Yeah, there's this giant arena on the side that he's basically above right now, and he's just gonna make his way down to where he's supposed to be and grab the cell that you need to... That's the cell you get for winning the fight, right?
Yep.
Pretty sure,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
He's gonna do a pretty precise roll jump here to get over to the other side here. Very nice. Very nice.
I was so scared about missing that.
It's really close. You lose a lot of time if you miss that.
Yeah. Especially because of a cycle that's you gotta catch for Zeppelins.
Yeah, so the Zeppelin cycles are based on your movement throughout Misty Island. So it's basically based on just as fast as you can possibly go, you get the best cycle that way. So you just want to make sure you're quickly going fast through everything. You want the first 2 Zeppelins that you see here to be as close together as possible. They can even be inside of each other if your movement's like perfect.
Yeah, they can overlap, and he wants to kill 6 of them, I believe, to get one of the cells.
You can kill 3 of them on the bridge before you actually get into the zoomer, which is how you're supposed to kill them.
So he's waiting for the cycle here because he knows the exact amount of barrels he can kill these guys for. Getting hit there doesn't matter too much because he's just gonna get the 3rd one. Very nice.
So we got 3 more. These ones are pretty tricky. At least the last 2 are.
Yeah. So in between getting these ones, he's gonna go up here and there's just a cell floating above. Hopefully this one won't be too much of a problem.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
That one's
Nice.
really... Ooh,
Yeah,
the
last one. Yeah, the
Should be
Zeppelin
a
likes
wall.
to be in the way.
Oh,
nice.
Sick. All right.
Good job.
That was great. By the pixel. All right, so the hard part of Misty is over, or at least there's one more difficult thing, I guess we have to do. All right. This is our first real boosted extended we're gonna do here.
Yeah, so there was a boosted uppercut towards the beginning just for some optimal movement, but it's not like necessary to save that much time. For this boosted extended that's coming up, it saves getting blue eco, which is kind of littered around Misty, so it saves a decent amount of time. And there you go.
Oh, nice.
Not even a ledge grab.
Yeah, no ledge grab. Very well.
And he'll do another boosted here just because it's faster when you're going off a ledge.
It's a little bit faster to get back to the boat that way. Yeah, you're normally supposed to activate that little platform that's sitting there with the blue eco, but you can just do a boosted like that.
All right, we can read one more donation, please.
We have $100 from Easyscape. Good luck on your playthrough of Naruto and Pikachu. Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
Thank you, Easyscape.
It's easy.
All right, so now we're at Sentinel Beach. Sentinel Beach is, well, I mean, it's just a vacation. You know, it's a day at the beach. Sort of.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward level all around. There's not a whole lot. There's a few unintended ways, but really it's just a cool display of movement, if anything. That's always satisfying the first time you see that.
Yeah.
Seeing all the green eco like swirl to you. It's really cool. Oh wow, there's a power cell. Go get it, Josh.
I got it. Oh, the Pelican got it before me, dude. Dang. All right,
he got
well,
it.
we got to punish him now.
And how might we do that? Let's get onto this tower
Oh, yeah.
by any means possible.
Assassin's Creed. I know you stole this from Jack. Look at this beautiful tower front. That's why Assassin's Creed is such a good game, guys.
See that cannon?
All right, here we go.
You're gonna eat it.
Bye, Pelican.
Wave by.
So normally you're supposed to hit the Pelican and it spits out the power cell, and you're supposed to go grab it before it scoops it back up again. But if you shoot a cannon, you shoot the cannon at it, the Pelican explodes. You can just pick up the power cell.
The pelican explodes.
So right here, we're scaring birds, and you'll see what these birds do when I scare them 3 times. So we scared them twice already.
They're pretty strong.
So it's the 3rd time.
If they land, this is completely RNG.
You can't scare them the third time
Sometimes
until
they
land.
just don't.
There you go.
There you go.
There's
Okay.
one. All right, here we go.
It caused a huge avalanche, you know.
No big deal.
Birds are the strongest animals in the world. Didn't you guys know?
Oh wow, a cell.
How convenient.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Here it comes. All right, let's go get it, guys. Oh yeah. So the aftermath of Pelican.
Yeah.
Rip.
Where there once was a Pelican, there is now an empty power cell.
And you just put it in your pocket.
Easy. All right, so we're gonna kind of abuse this pad in a way. We're just gonna jump to the right here. This is totally unintended.
Yeah, you're not meant to go over this to this area. You're also not meant to grab the scout fly up here, but you can grab it with the blue eco. So this is the mission that Samos told us to do at the beginning of the game. We do it like after we already have like 20 cells.
So what Josh was able to do, actually, I believe, is he was able to keep the blue eco long enough so that he's able to get off of this ledge here and grab the scout. No,
Almost. Yeah.
not quite.
That's really hard.
It doesn't
to do.
save that much time, but it's pretty impressive when you get it.
It's just by basically having optimal movement throughout
Yeah.
the whole area. So this upper section here has some pretty tricky roll jumps. You just have to be very, very careful with how you space all these moves. And there's also these dogs in the way, so Josh has to be pretty careful here.
Yeah, I've had a few dogs hit me off of the ledge. Not a great way to end a run.
Good job. Now meet me down here by the egg.
Hi, bird lady.
Oh my. I hope the poor dear's okay. Here's a power cell for your valor.
Ah, Fluffla. Beautiful creature.
No! No, 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 no!
Look, isn't that cute? It thinks you're its mama.
Ah, I'm not your mom. You see any feathers here?
Oh, love at first sight. Oh. Listen, boys. I'll take this little chick back to the village with me and work with the
Nice
sage
hat,
to
by the
take
way.
care of her.
Hey, nice hat.
So that's a baby Flut Flut. Unfortunately, we never get to see the mother.
The mom's Daxter.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
right.
So this next cell is just in the corner. I don't know why they decided it was a good idea.
Just kind of left there.
Oh yeah, it's the last cell of Sentinel. You know what we gotta do.
Oh,
This is meant to be like the first level you go to. Ah,
Yeah, you got it.
a little early.
Yeah.
The power fist.
So now he's got autosave on, which happens when he did the save warp at the beginning. Anytime you get a power cell, it automatically saves, or you're able just to warp to the beginning of the level.
Oh, I'm amused. You saved her.
Oh, you really are the best.
Here, take this power cell. I won't need it now that I have my inspiration back.
He might have his inspiration, but the sculpture itself didn't change one bit.
No, not at all.
He's an amateur.
You wanted to make a rock.
I guess that was the final product.
Abstract rock.
Yeah.
And with
Okay.
this power cell, he's done with Hub 1.
Yeah, that's World 1. So we're going to be heading into... World 2 has... well, between World 1 and 2, there's this little intersection that's it's called Fire Canyon. And the voice actor who voiced Kira, I think came in sick to work during this cutscene. Just listen to the voice cracks.
You have the 20 cells needed to power my heat shield. Now be careful. The shield will only protect your zoomer.
At least the first line is like... has at least 2 or 3 voice cracks in it.
Flying over open lava will definitely
So the cell
keep you up
requirement
fast.
for this is 20
Hit
cells.
500 degrees and
and
it's over.
That's how it is throughout most of the game. There's a cell requirement.
The fire canyon gets pretty hot, so keep a lookout for jumps to keep you off the hot ground. I've also released several blue cooling balloons you can use to drop the shield's temperature quickly. Oh, and when you get across, don't forget to activate the teleport gate in the Blue Sage's lab. Then we'll be able to teleport over and meet you. Good luck!
We'll definitely do that. Somewhat.
Kinda.
Kinda.
So,
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
go
you,
ahead.
you go ahead.
Okay, so basically, what we have to do in Fire Canyon, get all the boxes, all the orb crates, scout flies, and then we want to make sure our heat in the bottom left isn't all the way up, because, like Kira said, we'll die. So we have to get really high in the air to lower the heat, or collect these blue balloons.
Yeah, the balloons cool you down for whatever reason. But everything in Fire Canyon is generally really fast to get. You really don't want to miss one of these orb crates, because they've got 10 in them.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
we really need these orbs.
Yeah, also the Scout Fly cell is very, very fast. So essentially he's just going to 100% this level because it's just like, it's very linear, it's very fast, there's not a whole lot to it.
One thing to note too is the blue eco actually speeds you up. And actually the more blue eco you collect while on the zoomer, the faster you go.
So does anyone want to go over the Blue Sage hunt?
Let's let them see it, and then we'll explain it right after. I think it'd be really cool for them to be able to watch it first.
Fair enough.
Let's do it.
Get the scout fly first though.
Yeah, that'd be bad if you forgot that.
There you go.
There we go.
Nice.
All right.
And I'm out of there.
So what all just happened there is he did what's called pause buffering, which is what happens when you hit start and R2 at the same time. It tries to pull up 2 menus at the same time, and the game does not like that at all. It hates it. So when you do that, the game just assumes it's just paused. It just thinks it's paused the whole time, even though it's not. So when he goes into the cutscene, the game immediately pauses itself, and then you can just save and load out of that, and the game is like, well, you must have watched this cutscene. And then after that, the game just kind of leaves the cutscene around the hut as like a bubble. So you have to do that pause buffer again to go through the bubble in order to get past it.
Yeah. It'll actually be a problem later on, but we'll explain when we get there. Like The skip's not quite over yet, I guess we should say.
Yeah. So he's going to be heading over to the second zoomer level that we'll see here. This isn't like transporting to a new area. This is the area. One of the areas.
Yeah. By intended means, you can only use the zoomer in here, but by unintended means, you can actually go on foot in here.
Yeah.
And this area has a lot of orbs. This is the area where you will be collecting most of the orbs. You won't actually get a whole lot of cells, but a lot of orbs.
Also, that was rock jump that I just did. Debatably one of the easiest skips in the game, but my consistency isn't up there for some reason. So that was a bit of a relief.
Basically just brings you up to that scout fly a little bit sooner. You can go around and it doesn't waste that much time, but it is definitely faster to get that height off the rock.
So yeah, this is just a big old collectathon for orbs, which is really nice because we really need a lot of them.
There are a lot of orbs in Precursor Basin, and so there's also a lot of fast cells.
Like this one.
Yeah.
This one's just hanging out in the air. You can grab it by going all the way around there.
Oh, that was a fast one. How about this one?
Oh boy.
That depends. Are you gonna do
I
right?
thought you meant the plants.
Yeah. So coming up are plants, and it's basically there are these dark eco plants where you get this green eco to destroy them. Now, a lot of casual players, when they first play through this, have a hard time because if you miss any of them, they actually grow back in patches. So he's going to want to try and get them done in one cycle without having to go back and get more green eco. And he did it.
got it.
Nice. Very nice.
Awesome.
Even with a decent bit to spare, honestly.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It is still a pretty tight window, regardless. As you can see, he didn't have that much left. But
And then again, just load warping back to the beginning of Basin.
yeah, you're going to see that a few more times,
Yeah.
definitely throughout the game.
Hidden eco vent that gives you a bunch of orbs too.
That's another one of those things where you need the blue eco to open that.
And then on the way here to Lost Precursor City, what we mentioned before, how there's the bubble around the hut right now, he's got to make sure he just stays away from that bubble and needs to stare his camera at the bubble. That way the camera won't hit the bubble either. That way you don't watch the cutscene.
If the camera hits the bubble, then he has to watch the cutscene, and there's nothing we can really do about it.
And right here he's doing a death warp that requires you to do just a late time to jump so that it just void warps them away. The game's just like, you're too far from this elevator.
That was an extended uppercut, but more of a deeper one that we've seen like in the past. Basically, when you punch off of a ledge like that, the height you go down is actually height gained when you complete the uppercut. So it's pretty handy in a lot of different places.
There's a few boosteds here just to get over to the button faster. That's very nice. So there's an obstacle course he has to do here. This is one of the levels where we don't get all the scout flies because the scout flies take quite a while to get. As you see, there was this little cutscene for the cell you have to watch. Think about that cutscene, but 2 times more with the flies. So it just takes way too long to get that. Very nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. LPC is quite a stressful level. There's a lot of clips, a lot of boosteds.
A lot of things that can go wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets pretty hectic later on. Even this little thing is kind of nerve-wracking. You have to because you can't roll immediately after, so you have to go to the back of the platform, then line up the roll jump, and then you can make it across.
So now this is Larry's area.
So,
Oh, nice.
So right there, it's the only spot in the game where you can actually just jump on the Dark Eco. For whatever reason, they left a hitbox there that you can just jump off of.
Oh, I cannot see. Okay.
Okay.
Still got that.
Nice.
Larry's that flying lurker that's kind of messing around.
And that clip that you just saw there was, he used the momentum off of the bobbing of that little platform to allow him to launch himself over the wall because they left a lot of, I forgot the word I'm looking for. A lot of hitboxes on the walls. They're way too high, so you can just skip over them, just like right here as well.
Yeah, there's another clip you can do right here where he's going to go out of bounds. He's going to jump on the heads of this little thing. He's going to grab the ledge. Hopefully he can get this boosted.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice.
That's the big one.
Yeah, that's the hard one. Because you can barely see what you're doing out of bounds. And the water that sticks out of the wall is very tiny. So if you swim a little bit too far out, because when you land in the water, it also knocks you away. So you have to be very close to the wall, so you don't get knocked down. And if you do get knocked down, you fall for like 20 seconds. So here's a fun little slide.
Yeah, this is the first of 2 slides, but we don't go down the second slide. We do a different trick. But what I want everyone in the crowd and everyone on the couch, we're gonna be doing a skip. After vent skip, we'll point it out. I'm gonna count down, or I guess count up to 3. And on 3, we're all gonna put our hands up and say, "Look, ma, no hands." This is for the people at home.
And
all right, yeah. So I'll give you all a countdown.
And yeah, coming up right here is the vent clip that he just mentioned. You use the vent to gain momentum again to launch up so you can get over the wall, just the same as every other clip in this area because they just left that open.
All right, here we go. Just make sure I don't take damage. All right, here we go, guys. 1, 2, 3. Look, ma, no hands. Pork chip. All right. And we got it.
And we got the cell.
So that was a very odd thing to do, but you can pause buffer that cell, and basically, how would you guys explain that? It just gets the cell.
When you land on the cell on a pause buffer, it saves the game automatically because, again, with the autosave on. So you're able to load as soon as the game pauses, and the checkpoint is back up where he activated this silo thing here. So he's able just to go straight back without having to watch the cutscene or activate the event there.
All right, so now we're going straight to Boggy Swamp. Now, normally we would have to talk to the Gladiator, which is up there, and he has like this 2.5-minute story. But we're just gonna skip that by roll jumping and fast swimming over to this area.
Don't die here, Josh.
I will try not to.
Okay, good.
That lurker shark really likes to chase you while you're on land. And it's just, especially right there, which is interesting. Also, might I mention that Boggy Swamp is the most disgusting level ever. Ever. All right, so we're gonna do this fun clip here. Nice.
Oh, nice. You got it. Sweet.
So what he did is called zoom walking. Basically, there's like a first-person mode, and if you quickly go in and out of like the zoom mode, you're able to kind of keep your height. Now, if you don't have anything under you, then you start falling, so you can't go too low. But if you jump right out of it, you can actually get into some places you're not supposed to be.
Yeah. So I should probably mention. In Boggy Swamp, they introduced the yellow eco for the first time. As you see, there was the blue eco before. Now there's a yellow eco. The yellow eco is essentially a projectile. There's a lot of things in this area you can shoot down, which Josh just did there. He shot down one of the rocks holding up the giant zeppelin in the middle. He's gonna be doing that 4 times, and that's gonna be the majority of the cells he's gonna get in this area because they have very quick cutscenes and they're very quick cells overall to get. The scout flies are also worth it to get in this level, as well as a few other things he has to do. But the yellow eco can also break the crates you see in the swamp right there. Those were they were shaking a little bit. That's because you can't pick up the things that are in it before breaking it.
And a lot of the crates have a bunch of orbs in them, so some of them are really good to just quickly grab some orbs out of them if you need them.
So yeah, here's another one of those rocks.
Wow, it would not auto-lock.
Wow, the NAA, Josh.
Man, it's ridiculous. All right, so right about here, I want to look at my orb count. And by the end of this cave coming up, I want 275, so I have 258 right now. So if I get these and some of those, should be good. Probably sitting around 277.
It's really... Sorry. Go ahead. It's really important to make sure you keep an eye on your orb count because there's more orbs that you have to use to buy more cells in the route later on. Mm-hmm. And if you're short orbs and you go to buy orbs or buy cells, you won't be able to, and it's a lot of time scrambling to try and find more orbs.
Also, we have time for a quick donation. This is just an ambush.
Yeah, this is really
Great.
simple.
We have $50 from Sentoki. Had to donate during Jack and Daxter. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
We also have a $75 donation from Rogue Link, the last host, donating $25 for each potion used in Tina's run. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
$50 from Fanthoric, one of many today. Great to see such great games from my childhood being run. Put this towards naming Drillbur Nebby and keep it in the bag.
Nice.
So what you just saw there is what we call one frame. Basically, you've got a one frame window to spin after using a blue eco pad, and it allows you to just spin upwards with the blue eco pad momentum, and it allows you to control yourself during that. Usually, you're just locked in place, and it allows you to skip over that skip over top there instead of having to use the other blue eco pad.
Deceptively difficult trick.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a scout fly up there that he didn't have to actually go onto the platform to get because he had blue eco. He was able to reach it from underneath. And there's another cool trick coming up that we like to call quad jump. So basically, what you just saw was he did a high jump and then immediately, like at the top, he shot the yellow eco and then spun out of it. So when you shoot yellow eco out of a jump, you actually get a little bit more height. When you spin, you're able to maintain that height and get a ledge grab from it. So it lets us get on top of these platforms without flut, which again, or we'll be skipping flut for
now.
this. Yeah, for now.
For now.
Don't worry, we'll be back. You guys will get to see Fluff. All right, so we have about 305 orbs here. That's really nice, actually.
Yeah, so we're just about done with Boggy Swamp. There's a little bit of a detour, as you can see on the right, but it's a little bit faster to just jump through the goo than it is to walk all the way around.
We have time for a donation, actually.
Awesome. We have $40 from Ryan19. Longtime watcher, first time donating. I had to donate during this amazing game being totally broken along with my childhood. Good luck to the runners and let's smash $1 million. Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
All right, so right here, basically, I just want more than one health, preferably, for this next trick coming up. This is the run killer.
Yeah. So first what's going to happen is normally there's a 45 cell requirement to lift the boulder to get into Claw's area, but there's a pretty neat jump you can do around the boulder to get to Claw early. And then after that, we got pretty much the hardest trick in the whole run. No pressure.
Now we have those 45 cells, but it also comes with a cutscene that lifts the boulder. So we do boulder skip even though we don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, so we skip the cutscene. Want to talk about it, Josh?
All right, so this is how I like to explain claw skip to people. Claw skip is a trick. It's like playing rock, paper, scissors with someone who cheats, like a lot. So, as you can see, Claw will throw out rock all the time. And I will throw out paper, because I want to win. But then Claw will, most of the time, decide, I think I'll actually choose scissors. So that's how I like to explain this. So here comes my my paper here. Oh. Yeah, so he threw out his scissors. What are you gonna do?
So the reason why that that trick is a problem is because it's a frame perfect trick that is based on unreadable RNG. So you can try it and do it perfectly and not get it, and then do the same thing next run and get it.
What he needs to do is he needs to ledge grab the corner of the platform to walk through the lava and skip the whole thing.
All right, so coming up right here, since we weren't able to get the other trick, is something that's called idle deload. So he's got to wait in place here for 30 seconds until Jack does his idle animation. And because he has the checkpoint stored from dying over in Claw, the game still technically thinks in a way that he's over by Claw. And right now we're a bit closer to the other side of Claw than the front. So when he does this trick, he's going to stop the idle animation with a pause, and the game's going to freak the crap out.
I need do you need the time, Josh? Because I know what it is. Okay.
He's got it.
You got it.
Yeah, we're good.
So
I didn't know if you looked or not.
So yeah, the game kind of breaks a bit there, and because we're closer to the other side, we're closer to the other side of Mountain Pass, it just puts us there.
Yeah. And now we're behind Claw.
So there's some lurkers here that we have to race, and pretty slow, but you can go too fast.
Yeah.
To the point where you will lose this because of the way it like wraps around. If anyone wants to like touch upon that a little more.
Yeah. So the way that this game kind of sees it is if you go too fast, it kind of reads your distance from the lurkers, and if you're too behind in the race, it'll automatically end the race and you'll die because the lurkers will reach the end. However, if you're too far ahead, it'll still read that you're too far away from them and too far behind, and because of the way it wraps, it'll still just kill you. The way we get around that is if you go around this corner, it slows you down just enough so that you won't ever end up going too fast.
Also, all the dynamite that you see him passing by, that's an insta-kill. So you really gotta avoid all of that, basically.
Yeah.
Real fun.
Yeah.
Many a run died to that.
Yeah, especially when you're super nervous, you're on PB pace, you just got claw skip, and then you have to drive past this dynamite, and like, you're frozen, you can't move.
You lock up.
It's the greatest feeling.
So Josh is actually going to do an incredibly minor trick he's been doing throughout the run we haven't really talked about. He's actually going to park the zoomer like this in a specific way because Jack always jumps off on the right side. And the reason he's doing that is because he needs to go... Oh, there's the lurkers.
Hi.
Hey. He needs to go back into the cave. And what you normally need to do is you need to... he's going to try and get a cell where you normally need to have the yellow switch skip on the yellow switch in Snowy Mountain unlocked to get the cell for this area. But we found a skip for this like a few years ago, found by someone named Goofy, where you can glide up the wall using a high jump and a spin, spinning at a precise time to get the cell above. It looks really easy to get like that, but it took a while for us to discover it.
It's pretty
and first
precise.
try,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yo, shout outs to Goofy. All right, so now we are on our way to Spider Cave. Now, Spider Cave is an interesting level. Some early full game runs of Jack, they didn't go here at all because, quote, they were too afraid of the spiders. So if you too, like this first full game runner, are afraid of spiders, I hope you're not watching. Because there are a lot.
And something great with that as well is the second run that was done, they did go to Spider Cave, but they did not go to Snowy Mountain because they thought the cutscene was too long for Snowy Mountain. So they ended up doing just completely opposite routes in this third hub area.
Insane. So yeah, those spiders shoot purple or dark eco things. I don't know why.
So he's heading over to this gigantic robot area. This area with a gigantic robot where you're supposed to climb all the way to the top. You might briefly see it right there in front of you. And there's a cell sitting on top, and there is a way to get to that a lot better. So he's going to go to this detour part, where he's going to grab some orbs, and there is a cell waiting for him at the end. And on the platform, and there's the cell.
He's waiting there just so you can make the boost that he's about to do a bit more easy, because if you grab that blue eco, doing a boosted with blue eco is awful.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Okay.
That's a pretty precise boosted, so it's, you know.
Good that he got that, yeah.
Super punishing if you miss. All right, so now we're going to the Spider Cave of the Spider Cave. This is where, yeah, we have the most spiders here.
Yep.
They're all spider eggs and they all open because I'm moving near them. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of death warp here. Okay, so now we have what's called a quad jump. We've explained that earlier in Boggy. We'll have a really nice cycle here, hold on. I'll explain it after.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Hey.
Very
Nice.
All right, so basically what I did was double jump, use my yellow eco, and then spin, and that allowed me to grab the edge.
So he needs to actually carry the yellow eco outside of this cave, because this power cell is, if you try to 100% this game and you had no idea like what the missing cell was, probably this one, because it's really hidden. It's just on the wall there, just sitting there. So if you shoot on the way outside of Spider Cave, you get this cell. It's the hidden cell of the game.
It almost seems unintentional the way we're getting it, but that's totally the way that it was meant to get. So now here is another cutscene skip, though this is a little different. It's still going to involve pause buffering, however,
Oh no!
What? What? That is super rare. I think I've had that happen once, ever. I've ran this game for nearly 3 years at this point.
And I've had it once after 3.5 years.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Really, really rare.
Marathon luck, everybody. Marathon
Not bad.
luck.
So I guess
Not bad.
can explain it a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So instead of it actually, instead of the cutscene actually being there and you having to avoid it, we're actually going to kill ourselves right before the cutscene starts, right before...
Wow.
The game doesn't like to load sometimes, actually, especially after crashing.
Right before the pause screen comes up, and that skips the cutscene completely without having to worry about reactivating it anywhere.
Skips the cutscene, skips the whole game by crashing until you turn off the console. Yeah. No, crashes do happen in this game. It's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's really rare.
Yeah.
The volcanic crater where we just were is probably the biggest area where it can happen just because it's really laggy, but it's still super rare.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Still
You get to
sub
watch Daxter do his dance.
Still sub 1 pace.
Still sub 1.
Get that sub 1. This is where we get to see Josh turn on 16 by 9.
Don't judge me, okay?
It's bad, Josh.
Don't do it.
But is it though?
No,
It is.
no.
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh,
I had to do it to him.
it hurts.
All right, let me warm up my sticks a little bit.
Oh, yeah, with the Jack games.
Yeah, the Jack games have a really terrible neutral position for when you first turn on the game, so the controls are a little wonky at first, so you just kind of mess around with the control sticks until it actually starts working correctly.
Oop, nice, I missed the button. Wow, I missed it again. Game really does not like me. All right, I'm getting a little weirded out by this. There it goes.
There we go.
Okay, that's what's supposed to happen.
That was what was supposed to happen. So now he's completely skipped the cutscene and he doesn't have to worry about reactivating it at any time. And he's able to get these 2 cells here.
Yeah, there's no bubble in this cutscene, just like we talked about in the blue stage.
Yeah, because with this cutscene, we skip it with a death, and the death just tells the game, hey, look, you watched this cutscene. Good job.
Yeah.
So now it's important that we get these cells before, or after watching the red stage cutscene, because the next area actually we're not able to get to it until we get 2 cells after watching the cutscene. So you're actually, if you get all the cells in this area before watching the cutscene, then you're kind of stuck without being able to go to the next area. So.
Also, those cells were 120 orbs, but it's most definitely worth it because the cutscene for those cells are quite short.
All right, so we have time for a donation.
Great, we have a $50 donation from an anonymous donor. So many memories with Jack and Daxter, itching to get back into it and try out those moves. Thank you, GDQ, and everyone involved.
We have time for another one.
We have $100 from Nintendo Capri Sun. We've seen some great runs this week. Hang in there and keep fighting the good fight. And happy birthday, April. Thanks so much for your donation, Tim.
Happy birthday, April.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, April.
Happy birthday, April.
And hi, NCS. So this is Snowy Mountain. Really beautiful level, honestly. It's one of the better looking ones in the game. What he's going to do at the beginning is he's going to press these blockers. They look fairly simple to press, but they're going to be a bit of a hassle later on, and you'll see why. They're going to be a bit tricky. This level also introduces a new mechanic. It's red eco. It essentially allows you to break things you normally wouldn't be able to break. it just makes you stronger. So right over here in this cave, there's these shield guys. You need to beat 3 of them in this level for a power cell. So here he comes. He puts a shield up. We punch him, and the red eco sort of
Dissolves it.
Yeah, dissolves it.
Then right here, we're doing a trick that allows us to skip the flut section of this area. So usually you have to go through this really long, windy area with flut, but you could just punch down there instead.
But don't worry, we're not skipping flut, even though we're skipping the flut section.
Oh yeah. There's a lot more than the flut section for flut. Trust me.
You'll see.
And coming up in here, there's a pathway off to the left that's just really slow and obnoxious, so instead we're just going to skip it.
Simple as that.
So now there's 1 frame to do a trick here called rocket uppercut. No.
He got it in practice. He got it in practice.
Yeah. But it's 1 frame, and it's not even the first frame after the cutscene ends. It's 6 frames after the cutscene ends, so it's a little weird to get. But if you get it, you actually get shot right up. So you saw him jumping up the wall. It saves about 10 seconds because you don't have to do that.
So here's Flut, and this is the intended area you're supposed to use him. And this isn't the intended area. Super easy out of bounds. You can just bring him into the level, and you can use him just for the entire duration of the level. So this is the part where you have to jump on the blockers on the ice, which is quite tricky. Also, this cell that he just got, you're normally meant to break that with the yellow eco, but we have Flut, and you can break it off the wall just like that.
So if you have any problems, just use flut. All your problems will go away.
Standing on top of that little scaffolding thing there is actually a little bit of a skip. Normally you're supposed to kill all the enemies before the lurker jumps down. But if you jump onto his little icebreaker thing, he actually jumps down early. It's a little bit faster.
So one of the hardest blockers is coming up here because he's jumping from a pretty high height here, so you just hope to land on it. Very nice. And this is the fortress that he lowered here.
And in the fortress here, we're going to try and do a cutscene skip on a power cell, which is the only one that we can actually do this on in this sense. Basically, you want to jump up really high and then twist the camera, and it despawns the cell and then respawns it in, and then when it's doing that, it just skips the cell when you collect it during that. And then if you ground pound the vents that had all those orbs in them, right as they open up, it allows you to just grab them all at once.
Now this area here is really hard. Ooh. Josh makes it look easy, but that ice is super slippery, and especially on Flut, it's really hard to control where you're going. With those 2 enemies there, it's super easy to fall off.
Gotta go ham.
That whole section was really, really good, honestly. Yeah, well played. So here's just another skip. That's it. That's the cell.
A small little fight that you have to do otherwise, but Flut can just make it up. You can actually make it up on foot too, but it's a little bit harder.
Nice. All right. Now we got gondola skip. This is the big one in Snowy. We're just gonna show you it and then explain it afterwards.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
You gotta hear Flut
Yeah.
hit the ground.
So what happened there is if you jump off the edge there with Flut, you can get enough distance to get past the death plane in Snowy, and then because Volcanic Crater is still loaded down below, you can actually just fall all the way down there. But you don't want to land outside of the cave because then you can't actually get inside the cave, because if you have Flut outside of her area, it'll crash the game if you go in a lot of places. So you have to make sure that you clip through the rock back in so that you can land inside the cave so the game won't crash.
Yeah. You just can't carry Flut anywhere in this general area, otherwise the game will just crash. You may have also noticed that Flut is just is invisible and is floating. That's because Flut isn't loaded in for Volcanic Crater. He's not supposed to be in this area, so Jack is just floating on an invisible Flut.
Pretty cool to see, honestly. Especially during the cell cutscenes. You guys will see.
It's pretty fun.
So Josh here is going to buy 3 of the minor cells because the 4th one is pretty long. It's a pretty long cutscene overall, whereas With the other one, it's somewhere like a 10-second cutscene.
As well as if you're on Flut and try to buy the fourth cell, your game just crashes. So.
Yeah. So what he's gonna do to get rid? Yeah. So so you can see there that Jack is just on an invisible Flut. What he's gonna do to get rid of it is just to load the game like he's done before, and the game just forgets that he's on Flut at all.
So yeah, actually Jack is very talented and can stay suspended through the air for a long time.
That's 3.
Yeah.
He's standing right there.
This is 3, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I can count correctly. All right.
So now to get rid of Flut, he's just gonna load, so he doesn't crash the game.
Nope, not sound options. I don't want those.
Now we'll be heading towards the
end game.
Yeah, towards the end game. So now, there is one more level after the next transitional area. It's about 6 minutes long, but you know, not for us.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So this is Lava Tube. As you know, in the any % category, you can actually skip the 72 cell requirement to get to this area, and get get halfway into Lava Tube, and go to the end of the game, which saves 25 or so minutes, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah. 30.
But in this category, we can't do that because we get to see more of the game.
We have time for donations.
All right, we have $100 from an anonymous donor. Giving on your birthday is the most rewarding thing once you get to my age. Can't wait to see some OOT later, my dude. We have $10 from Big Mad Boat. Wanted to donate during Jack and Daxter. I recently completed the re-release on PS3, and let's just say it went a lot less smoothly than Outrageous Josh's run. Greetings from Sweden. Keep up the great work, everyone.
All right, so now we're in Lava Tube, and this place is, well, very hot, as you can see. We're going to be cooling off by getting really high jumps, and we're also going to be going through a secret passageway.
That nobody seems to know about. This is an intended area in the game.
The only blue eco in Lava Tube, by the way.
And you actually have to like slow down and like rub up against the wall there just so you can grab both of them. You can't just go right through, otherwise you just go through the second blue eco.
Get those oranges, Josh.
I got him, dude.
Nice. That was really clean, actually.
That was
That was
actually
nice.
We just call that the orange room for no reason. They just.
They look like oranges.
Yeah, they look like
I
oranges.
guess you can call that a mid-boss. I don't know.
So yeah, there's pretty much nothing to do here other than try to get really high jumps.
Yeah. He's not going to be collecting anything in this area, even though the scout flies and the orbs are quite easy to get throughout this whole area. But he already has the 72 cell requirement, so all he has to do now is beat the game. He doesn't need any of the items anymore, or collectibles rather.
That wall is not solid.
Well, he's actually going to get 2 more cells, but one of them's for the reason of getting off the zoomer. You can't get off the zoomer unless you grab the cell, which is right over here.
And yeah, coming up right here at the end of Lava Tube, there's 3 skips that are going to happen really quickly back to back to back. This first one here is the same as the red stage. He's going to use that pause buffer that we mentioned earlier to hit this button, and then he's going to die in the lava. That way we don't have to talk to Kira. And then immediately after, he's going to use the pause buffer again and die to skip the next cutscene. However, this next cutscene also is a bit broken to where when you skip this cutscene, it brings you to the end of the level. So that is all of Citadel right there.
Yeah, and that skips a 6-minute level.
Yep.
Yes. And then that skip right there also skips another cutscene that's about 2.5 minutes long. You just have to pause at the same time as collecting that cell.
Yeah, that final cell is tied to one of the longer cutscenes of the game. So this is the final boss area, and heading down to it, you can do a small death warp on halfway down it just to get down to the boss a little bit faster. He's going to wait a little bit, and he's going to jump off right here. Saves a few seconds. He's going to use Yellow Eco throughout most of this fight to shoot at the robot.
I missed the 1 frame.
Yeah, so you can do 1 frames on this boss as well, just to get lower jumps to land a little bit faster. How much did they save overall? Like all of them?
Around 10 seconds. Around there. All right, so we're gonna make quick work of these dark eco lurker things. They never really specified what they are, honestly.
They're just evil.
They're just
Yeah,
kind
they're
of
just kind of gross.
Evil creatures.
Make quick work of them. Barely even look at them, you know?
So the middle of the stage opens up like further as the more you go into this arena. Or the further you go into the fight, rather. Also, that generates a lot of lag.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna make quick work of this phase as well, just by getting really close to Golden Maya with the yellow eco. All right, cool. Still don't get the one frame.
None of them. Well, you got the one in Buggy.
Yeah, you got one in Buggy.
That's the one that's important.
So he's got this giant cannon this time.
Quick shot.
No quick shot. So we're just gonna tank this hit.
That's why not.
Yeah.
We have the health.
He's also skipping a few of the cutscenes by jumping, like here. It's just a few of these roars that put you into a cutscene state.
If you're not on the ground, then the game won't put you in the cutscene.
So the final cutscene, and then we got time.
Yeah, it's the final cutscene, and then about 10 seconds after the cutscene ends, will be time.
So yeah, Daxter here is explaining, or he's trying to decide whether he wants to save himself or the whole world. Really hard decision, buddy. Really hard decision. So yeah, time will be coming up when I touch the white eco.
Yeah, timing is actually random in this game,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. The white eco falls down randomly, so hopefully he gets a good spawn. Get ready?
Average spawn.
And time.
Time.
I want to give a few shout outs as well afterwards. Thank you guys, thank you. Unfortunate hard lock during the middle of the run, but that's all right. So I just want to give a few shout outs. Shout outs to these guys on the couch, man. These guys are awesome. You guys should go follow them. The Rixer, Rubik's, Headstrong, Wed. Yeah, once again, they're awesome. Shout outs to the Jack community. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here, man. So you guys are awesome. Shout outs to the fam. I know you guys are watching this late at night. And shout outs to the Frick Squad. You guys know who you are. All right, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Jack and Daxter.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.